Do you ever have a moment in your sales call where you feel like you have won the prospect, but after a few days they start ghosting you, and then you wonder why you have lost the sales? Hey, hi there. My name is Sachindia. I'm the founder of the Consulting, and in this video, I will share with you 5 common mistakes that salespeople do that cause them to lose the sales. And if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, then go ahead and subscribe to this so that you get to know the notifications whenever I post such videos on this channel. So without any further delay, let's jump into what are those 5 common mistakes which salespeople do usually, and that cause them to lose that sales particularly. But before that, let me share my experience into sales process, and why I'm talking about these 5 common mistakes. Now, I have been into selling from last 5 years, and what I have understood is there are a lot of common mistakes that we do. Indeed, I have done also a lot of such mistakes in the past in my career, doing over more than 500 sales calls so far, where I understood that there are few things that we need to tweak, we need to keep in mind, specifically whether you are selling into B2B or B2C or any other kind of sales. You need to keep these 5 things in mind. Okay, so let's start with the first one. The first is drop the extra enthusiasm in your calls. Now, first one of the most common thing that I've found out is, which again I used to do, is over enthusiastic. I have, because I'm a kind of person who's always had that high energy, who always have that enthusiasm whenever I talk. But in sales, it's gonna work in backwards for you. So make sure you drop that extra enthusiasm. Now, what I mean by that is, let's suppose we met in a networking event, and I came to you and I say, "Hey, hi there, my name is Sachin. It's nice to meet you." Now, that is one of the ways to go about it. But what about if I come to you and say, "Hey, hi there, my name is Sachin. It's nice to meet you." Or automatically you will feel like that there's a resistance, right? Or whenever you're going to meet people who are overly enthusiastic, specifically salespeople, it's gonna trigger a thought in the mind of your prospect that you are a guy who's gonna sell something, right? So because there is a psychological factor called reactance. Whenever you push somebody in a corner, or whenever you push somebody with your words or with something, they they react to it in a different way. When I say in different way, means basically they feel pushy, they will feel that they are pushed in the corner, and then their body will react and they will show the resistance to it. So make sure you drop that extra enthusiasm when you go in a call. Now, second one I want to share with you, the common mistake that I've seen is, we do not disqualify the misfits. Now, this is one of the most important thing in sales. Always make sure you disqualify the non-fits. That means you should not pitch, or you should not go forward with sales call if they fail to qualify your ideal customer profiling. Okay, now whether again, as if we are into SaaS, ad tech, and we all basically we teach that in our sales consulting and their consulting, how to do that. But you need to disqualify. Now, one of the most important thing for sales is that you need to crunch your numbers, right? You need to achieve your targets, and in order to do that, what usually salespeople do is, whatever leads data they are getting from their marketing team, or from whatever team they are getting, they go and start pitching. They go and start again having the same conversations which they have with everyone else, right? That should not be the case. You should have a proper discovery call or proper filtration process where you understand the needs of your customer or prospect, in fact, and whether they have the problem which you or your product or your service or whatever you are offering can solve it. If you do not solve that problem, disqualify them. And how to do that? By asking the right questions in a short discovery call. Now, if you are into high value sales, that is, your ticket size is very high, whether it's a product, again, whether it's a service, it's always mostly it will be 2 to 3 step close, right? It will not be closing on a one call. I'm talking about people who are selling 1 lakh and beyond, 5 lakh, 10 lakh, 15 lakh worth product, right? So in those cases, it's very very important to have a discovery call, short 15 to 20 minute call, or the phone call, or a Zoom call, or in person, or whatever you do, just to ask the right questions and see whether you can help them or not. If not, clearly tell them, hey, in this call, set the context. I'm going to ask you a few questions just to understand what exactly are the challenges that you are facing. And in case we can help you out with our process, definitely I will share that process with you. But in case I felt that you are not the right fit, or in case I feel like I cannot help you out, I will check in my connections who can assist you. Is that fair? That's how you should go about setting the context. Okay, and so this will put in their mind as well that it's going to be a just normal basic conversation, like that guy will be asking few questions, and again, if I'm not able to help, Be very very confident and have the guts to say no to them. Okay, so that's the most common because you don't want to spend your time on people who are not your right fit, who are not ready for your, like, who don't have the same challenges that your product or service is solving. And you do not want to spend your time, precious time, with people who are not the right fit or misfits is as per your problem solving or your product or service, whatever you're offering, right? So that's the most common mistake. Number two. Number three, people speak a lot about their company, about their product, about their service, and how they can help people to solve their challenges. Now, nobody cares about your company, irrespective whether you are a Fortune 500 company or you are a startup. Nobody cares about that. Okay, what people want to hear from you is that whether your product or service can solve their problem. That's the only thing they want to understand. Can you help them out to move from point A to point B? If yes is the answer, that's why they're in it. Otherwise, nobody cares, right? There's a phrase that we call it WIIFM that I learned very early during my early days of selling. What's in it for them, or for me, in fact? What's in it for me? That means your customer or your prospect is thinking is like, what's in it for me? Why should I spend time with you in a call and listen to you about your company, right? So that means they are not there to just hear you how good your company is, how good your product is, how well your company is doing, how many years you are into this, what all the kind of valuations or the blah 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 stuff that you're going to talk about, right? Nobody cares about that. I totally understand you want to build that trust in them, but that is not the right way to build that trust in your prospect's mind when it comes to sales. Because people want to hear, as I mentioned, people want to hear whether you can solve their challenge or not. That's the only thing they want. Okay, now this is quite different from Shark Tank that you used to that you see or used to see, or that you're seeing on your televisions, that you have 60 seconds or a 2 minute or 3 minute to pitch your product. Now that's a different ball game altogether. In actual terms, when it comes to sales, you should speak very very less. You should start engaging them. The more they speak, the better the chances that they will be able to close. 60 to 70% of the sales call, you should be quiet. Just shut up, ask right questions, deep questions, and shut the fuck up. Because if you're gonna speak more and more, what's gonna happen? They will keep quiet. That means they have not shared their deeper emotions, their deeper challenges with you. And if they have not connected, if they have not that have a deeper conversation with you, what will happen? You will always gonna get that objection. Hey, let me think about it. Oh, give me some time, I will ponder over it. All those kind of things gonna come in your sales pitch. So make sure that you speak less and let them speak as much as you can. Okay, that's a common mistake number. And here's a mistake number four. Now, most of the salespeople act like they are product pushers, that they want to push their product to the throat of the prospect to buy them up, and that's what at the end of the day they want. They want the money from them, right? So you should not be a product pusher. Instead, you should be a problem solver. Now, how to do that? You need to make sure that you start to build a meaningful conversation, a deep meaningful conversation, where they're sharing about the challenges, how they feel about those challenges, what they're losing out on if they're not solving those challenges, and all this stuff. How you can do that? By asking deep and right questions. Now, of course, you cannot get into a sales call or a call with a stranger and they start sharing their deep emotions with you, right? It takes some time. And how to do that is by setting the right context, asking surface level question first. Hey, tell me what exactly you are into or what you are doing, just to make the ball rolling, right, to surface level. How long you have been to this? What challenge exactly you're facing right now in your, let's suppose if you are helping somebody through your product in their business to increase their sales through a CRM, right? Or getting maybe having a employee software where all the data is there of all the employees, so you're saving a lot of time and making them systemized, right? So you can discuss about those questions. What's the challenge right now that you're facing currently as far as sales is concerned or maintaining your sales data is concerned? And that's how you go deeper into the questions, right? So whenever you start to build a meaningful conversations, right, then only people start to share the deeper feelings. And if you cannot touch somebody's emotions in a sales call, most likely you're going to lose that sales. So make sure you connect with their emotional needs. That means their why. Hey, if I, can I be really honest with you? Hey, can I ask really deep questions? How does that really impacting your life or impacting your business? Or What if you think, if a right process is dialed in, or if a right process was there in that place, how much do you think you could have added in additional revenues in your business? So when you ask these kind of questions, whether you are an exact, you're, again, whether you are selling ad tech courses, or whether you're selling some kind of services, whether you are in consulting or career guidance or selling any software, you need to touch their emotions, because sales is always an emotional decision. Let me be very clear. First, it's always an emotional decision, and then people make it a logical one. So make sure you touch on those emotions by asking the right and deep questions. Now, I'm sure you must have visited a doctor at least in your life once, right? So what I want you to do is, from now onwards, behave like a doctor. Now, when you go to a doctor, what usually happen? They ask you deeper questions, right? They ask you about your symptoms, how long you have been facing, what exactly is that, and then only they're going to prescribe you some medicines, or they're going to write some tests for you, right? You cannot, like, you will not see a doctor like when you just directly jump into their clinic and they're just telling you, hey, I have this fever, give me the medicines. It will not happen usually like that, right? They're going to ask you the symptoms, they're going to keep asking deep questions, and then only you will realize, oh, and they will make you feel the problem is so deeper. You were just thinking it's a fever, or it's just a pain, maybe in your chest, but that can be a bigger symptom of maybe a cardiac arrest going forward, or a heart attack. So see from that lines, right? You were thinking it's just a chest pain or it's just a fever, but they have shown you a window. They have stretched that pain. They have, focused on what I said. They have shown you the bigger picture, that if you cannot solve this problem right now, if you're not solving this problem right now, it's going to impact and cultivate into a bigger problem. Okay, so you need to work on right away, and then you will find, then you will go around and do all the tests, you're going to start working on your health and blah 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 stuff. That's how exactly you need to be. Now, I'm not saying just scare them to the death. Okay, what I'm trying to say is, try to engage them in such a meaningful conversation and ask them such questions that, hey, if you don't solve this problem right now, how much you're going to losing out on additional revenue, in case your product or service help them to add revenue, in case that is a, if you are selling something else, how that is impacting your career, how they're losing out on maybe upgrading their career, or losing out on, again, earning more salary if they're not upgrading their skill set, maybe that, whether it's communication, whether it's something else, right? So that means you should not be a product pusher. Instead, you should be a problem solver. And how to do that? By becoming a doctor, by asking deep questions, touching their emotional needs. I hope this makes sense to you, right? If you're liking this, all the content, then make sure that you subscribe to this. Now I'm moving on to the now, one misconceptions what people have, or sales people specifically have, is that objections always come at the end of the sales call. That's not true. The moment you start your sales call, your prospects start creating some thoughts, perceptions about you, about your company, about your product. Whether how the way you are speaking, the way your confidence is, the way you are engaging them, the way you are asking those questions, what kind of question you're asking, your prospect are very very smarter nowadays. Okay, so you need to make, so your effective, your sales call start from the second you start your sales call, and people start creating their perception in their mind, the way you ask questions, the way you show up, the way you dress up, and all that stuff, right? So this is a misconception people have, that, hey, my objections come at the end of it, so I need to only deal them with the end. No, you have to make sure that you conduct your sales call in such a smoother way, that you should get at minimum to minimum objection at the end of the call, right? And that's what, again, in the last video I shared with you, the 3P framework, right? That helps you to reduce at least 40 to 50% of your sales objections right away, if you're going to follow that. And if you have not checked that video particularly, I will add that somewhere in the button. You can go and check it out. That particular framework has helped my clients to do over 1 CR in sales in the last 9 months. So you need to make sure that you set the context in such a way that you get minimum to minimum objections. And in case you get objections as well, there's a playbook to go around it, how to deal with those objections. Maybe I will add that in my different video. But for now, these were the 5 common mistakes that I've seen that salespeople do in their sales call, which I want you to avoid going forward. And I want to make sure that you implement all these in next going forward and see the results in your sales call itself. So I hope you found this video very very useful. If yes, then first thing I want you to do is subscribe to this YouTube channel if you're finding this valuable. And also, if you want to hop on a one-to-one call on which how we can help you out possibly to 2x your sales in 3 to 5 months. Then you can hop on a one-to-one call with us. I'll be more than happy to assist, and you can connect with our head consultant experts there and see how we can create a customized roadmap for you if you are into ad tech or SaaS sales. So this is it from this entire video. Make sure you do not lose out on sales because of these common mistakes that I shared with you. And again, if you have any feedback, any questions related to sale, or any other common mistakes, or any other challenge that you feel that you are having in your sales call, comment them in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions and reply back to you. So that's it from today's video. Take care. Bye bye.